Uh-oh. Hey, you want to come on in? I'm here getting ready to do the thing. Already got somebody watching. We just signed in. I mean, we're not supposed to start till 9, but we can kick it a little bit on here. Say hello to everybody coming in and all that. Make it pretty dope for the fans, you know? People that want to know want to know the know. You know what I mean?
Call me in. Call me
I can't call you. Oh, you want me to send you the link? Okay. Hey everybody, we getting ready to do this. You know how we give it up. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the think tank. We'll be starting in about 24 minutes. We will be having some interesting conversation along the way. If you're tuned in and you're watching already, you're gonna get some interesting stuff. All right, you got the link, so you can come on in. Yeah, if you're tuned in already, we're gonna have some preliminary stuff. You get to hear some stuff that the rest of the world may not hear, because we're gonna be talking right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, immediately. At least I'm gonna start giving up tea. I know a lot of y'all watching is like, did he deserve to go to jail? Uh-oh, Ice got in right away. No problems today. Okay, I see you. All right, all right. Let me hang up here so you can come in with your video and audio and we be lit. Okay. We got Ice Water, formerly of the Nubian Mob, getting ready to rock with us. That's the way we give it up in here. For y'all, for those of y'all that don't know, Ice Water used to be in the rap industry. He was a signed artist. He had some insights from within side of the business. On the other side, how the business is reacting, what happens at them crazy industry parties, all types of wild stuff. Tonight, I'm going to give an exclusive. I was contacted by someone very interesting that it's going to make a whole big world difference. What's up, Ice Water?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Chilling, chilling. All right. I'm still setting the feed up.
Right,
My
right.
computer's still running a little lag. I'm gonna get a new computer soon. Just these brand new IMAXs, a little touch of the pockets. But I'll have it. I'll have it probably before the summer over. You know, I was just telling them that you have a little bit of insight that a lot of people may not because you was in the business.
Right, right.
I mean, last time you was on, you dropped nuggets. I was like, yo, you told me what was going on inside of Diddy's prison cell. Like, yo, it ain't sweet inside there. You ain't getting special treatment. That boy in ISO, they tried to kill him and everything.
Yeah, man.
That was some
He just
interesting
gotta
stuff. I'm sorry, go
he
ahead.
just got he just gotta play it by the rules, man. Because there's some people that don't like him, some people that do like him. So it's 50-50, you know. You think it's all no. Some people they don't give a fuck about his money, period. They don't care, excuse my language, for all the ladies and
Appreciate that. Thank you.
children.
F bombs,
Sorry
word.
for that. But yeah, but there's a lot of things that go on in that realm. Because remember, that's a different world. So you may think you can do the same thing you do out in the streets. No bueno, no bueno. You just gotta be
Word. See, I don't know nothing about that. Never intended on learning. I just knocked on wood for y'all can't see my wooden table. I ain't trying to find out. I like it out here. Sweet. Opportunities. Women. Women. Women.
well.
No Diddy.
And then they have different kind of women. So you have
Those
to
ain't no
really,
women. Those ain't no women.
you got to be like, you got to protect your neck.
And ain't your neck you gotta protect.
You gotta, yeah, that what
Gotta
my man
protect
said,
that butthole.
that virgin butthole. Because there's some
Word.
people that enjoy having fun with the fellas. You may not having fun, but they'll be having fun. So you got to be cautious.
That's a good suggestion. Don't run up in there like you own it, because they will own you.
Oh,
Like, I don't want none of that smoke. I am not built that way. Yo, I'm straight up a punk. I was going to use another word, but because of what we doing, we on the internet and all that, I can't really say what I wanted to say, but call me somebody like, yo, I don't want none of that smoke. I'm good. I don't want
that,
the problems. I don't want to be out there.
that smoke turns into fire.
Oh man, you just keep them coming, huh?
You definitely. Remember, I'm not a tall guy, I'm a small guy. I was small back then, and I knew a guy from the streets that was explaining certain things to me on how to operate in there. And he said, his name was Peace. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you something. You see that guy over there? He over there hitting the heavy bag like he knows how to box and all that." He said, "Yo, there's people out here that's watching them. They're gonna come test that jaw. They're gonna test them because they want to play like God, like the stuff people tell you that gets you all jammed up. Yeah, man, you go in there act like you want to fight everybody. Nah, you don't. No, you go in there and just relax to yourself. If it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down. But if you go in there on some big brute stuff, they're gonna
Somebody
knock
gonna
you
want to
out.
see you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, you teaching me. I'm never gonna need that information. I'm not gonna retain that. That's not gonna be my life. I don't need that.
Hey,
Speaking that in existence.
and like I said, well, I got jammed up. Um, I got set up by the police. Um, they and I was in a situation whereas there was no way out. So all I can say is that you got to be mindful on what's happening because if you don't, booty
And that can happen
hole.
to anybody. That ain't no joke. That's not just, that could literally happen to anybody.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's a scary thought, man. You sitting in prison for doing nothing.
yeah, yeah. And when I was
And,
in at that time, they were having sweeps. Police were sweeping neighborhoods. I went out to get some food to come back home, and I was coming back out because there was this girl that was going to be coming off the bus, and I wanted to check her because she was banging.
yo, I know
Man,
that song. Now you singing my tune. Go ahead.
man, the
Believe me, I done that, man. Go ahead.
next thing, they swooped up block. I didn't run because I know I didn't do nothing. Them clowns cuffed me, walked me around Queens, picked up some other people that was locking out. They said, "Oh, you know what? Guess what? You made a sale." I'm like, "What, are you crazy?" So I ended up trying to fight the case, just like Diddy. So I went to math hearing, the Wayne hearing, then the next one, the third one. That's when they pick your jury. And I
Wait,
knew,
say that again. Because for those of y'all that are watching, y'all are getting the inside of what Puffy had to go through. He's
yeah,
describing what
that,
happens when you're
yeah,
being
that,
indicted at the
yeah,
federal
yeah,
level. So this sounds like la
because
la 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 la, we kicking it, but this is exactly the processes that Diddy went through. So
because
if you
there's
want to hear what happened, you getting it right now. I'm sorry. Would you repeat that one more time? Because you was just giving up game, fam.
yeah, yeah, more than one hearing. You have the math hearing, then you have the Wayne
What's
hearing.
that?
each hearing gives you insight on what's going to happen to you as far as your job, your trial. So the math hearing, that's the easy one. The second one is put like this: each one, you get a chance to cop out or go all the way. The first one,
So
I
you
was
outside hollering at some chick. Next thing you know, the feds scooped. Who scooped you? It wasn't the feds that scooped you. Who scooped you? It was NYPD.
yes, yes.
So how
So
did it turn federal? Like
what
that was your
happened was
first strike. How did it go federal?
what happened was kept fighting, but I was fighting because I knew I didn't do nothing. So after the first case, then the second one, the third one, that's when you go to trial. I saw my mother at that time. She came into court and she had a cane. And something in my brain said, man, if you go away, you may never see her again.
So you was
Um,
fighting for your life.
so I was like, I've been in here a year, just like Diddy, eight to 10 months. I only got a year, another year to go. So I cop out and I'll be home. Pissed because, like I said, I was like a guinea pig. It was they offered me 2 to 4. Now, if I'd have blue trial, they'd have gave me an 8 1/3 to 25. Now you
All right,
do
you
the
talking
math.
about numbers I can't even understand, fam.
Me
They
neither.
offered 2 to 4. They gave you 2 to 4 years.
Yeah. So I said, damn, what am I gonna do? Because you still got your ego. So when my lawyer came back and he asked me if I did it, and I told him no, and I didn't. He turned red, and I knew then that he wasn't working with me because
You're the public defender.
everything that I needed to fight the case, I didn't have. He was giving it to me late, so I wouldn't have no time to go to the law library or anything to work on appeals or anything. He took his time. So by the time after the first 2 hearings, it was the third one. Then he brought him up there. Then I said, man,
Mm.
if I mess with this, I'm not coming home no time soon. Because when they want you, they got you. When they got you, they got you. When they want you,
Well,
they
Diddy
want
just proved that not to be true if you got enough money.
you. Yeah. And at that time, I had money, but it was not that kind of
Not
train.
Diddy money.
No, he had train. He got train smoke. So
You got who?
he has train smoke money.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That's cool.
I
Speaking
mean,
about my language. Speaking about my head.
that means his money so long. It's like train smoke. It just keep going.
Got you, got you, got you.
My situation was I was running with a crew at that time. They was making they was making money, but it was street money. And it wasn't money that was gonna get me to the promised land.
Right, right, right. You was hustling.
So I was
Southside Queens. That's how we gave it up, right?
yeah. So I was in a situation whereas you got to take it and run, take this and run. And I'm saying it's the best thing that happened to me because that's where ice water was born. Because I never had the time to really do it. I knew I could do it, but I didn't have the time to do it. So after I did
Time to
this,
do what?
prepare myself to do this music for real. Man, I went upstate. Me and like 2 other guys. We would practice. And by the time I came down, I was smoke. I was smoke. There was no, you ain't running up with that corny stuff. I was for real, for real. That's why I write like I'm.
Wow. So you learned to write for the 2 years you did in prison?
Put it like this: before I went to prison, I went to sleepaway camp, the same one I told you that
Where
Diddy went
Puffy
to.
went?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, you was in camp with Puffy, right?
Yeah. So a friend of mine, he was the DJ in that Camp Innocent, and he formed a little group, teenage group. We was about 14. That's why I first started rhyming, but I wasn't really rhyming because he was writing the rhymes. So from there, when I came down, I had to learn, but I wasn't really doing it like I should do. But when I came from upstate, that's when I started doing bass. That's when Jez and them offered me the contract. That's when all these different record labels started coming at me because I was not to be played with. Not only that, I could sing. So it brought a different texture to rapping. I was just rapping. I could sing. So I started blending my choruses. I mean my hooks, my rhymes, everything. I started blending it. 1 minute I'm rhyming, next minute I'm singing. And it was bananas. That's when the girls came to the front. I said, come on up, girl. So that's how that happened.
Wow. So Ice Water was born because of some hot chick at the bus stop.
Yeah.
That's the story, man.
Because if she wasn't hot, I never talked to nothing. If you ain't hot, I ain't talking. Never. Since I was a kid, I never did. No, 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 no. You gotta be flaming for me to go, oh, okay, I could work with this. And that's what I did. I don't remember the girl to this day. I don't remember what she looked like or
Of
nothing, but I know
course.
she was she was go gorgeous. She was bananas. So that was the last time I seen her. And when I
Well, you
came
was
home,
gone for 2 years. Things changed in 2 years.
yeah. So when I was upstate, I would hear new rappers coming out, and they would have different funny names, and I'm like, and I'd be bugging out, like, who's this? Who's that person? So like I said, when I came home, I made a name for myself. I went up to the Bronx, Strong City, MC8 Records studio, and that's when I first got my first record deal sent to me. We went in there, we did one track, two track. By the time we got to the second track, they was ready to give us contracts. And now, and remember, I'm not smoking or nothing like that no more. So they never heard nothing like this. Put it like this: your favorite duos couldn't have messed with us. I still got some of it. Because he has the acetate of what we did. And I'm gonna tell you, our engineer was Skep that did stuff with Top Coast, and Skep Insulin gets props too. That was our engineer. Jazzy J, he was the engineer. So I had some right people. So we walked in the game with right people. We didn't come with corny crap. No, we came with some official people that was willing to help us for real. So from there, rest is history, baby. One day I will let you hear some of my own stuff. My first demo stuff. My first demo stuff was better than most people's first records. I was doing hotter shit back then, yo. I was doing it back then because I already had an angle on what I was wanted to sound like, what it was coming to the table.
All right, y'all are getting to hear some industry insider stuff by Ice Water, formerly the Nubian Mob. In 5 minutes, we're going to start digging into this Diddy stuff. 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
9 o'clock sharp.
Yes, Diddy. It's a
Got to hear
pity.
some. Got to hear one story from the industry.
Hmm.
You know, so based on that Diddy stuff, though. So based on how the industry was rocking back then, how do you think Diddy got in?
Um,
The
he was
man didn't have
connected
no
with
talent. He could dance.
no, he was connected with Andre Harrell. And once he
So
became the
walk us
intern,
through that, because everybody might not know who Andre Harrell is. So what does that look like?
Andre Harrell was in a group called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And they had a record out. And from there, Andre Harrell got a deal through Clive Davis. He had his own deal. And he started Uptown Records. And that's how Diddy came in. He was just an intern, somebody that was just, basically shuffling Sammy. Um,
Stacking
from there,
papers.
yeah. So from there, he realized that he was in the field, and he started networking. And through his networking, he, like in the Biggie story, he got kicked out because Andre Harrell said there can't be two leaders in this game. You got to go. So as time got on, he came back, and I don't know how he got it. Well, we know how he got it, but I'm not. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. But from
Right, right,
there,
right. We can speculate.
but here the story is that he did some very conspicuous things to get in the music field, and that's why, as time went on, he was still rolling like that. Because that how you come in is that's how you are. He came in dusty. He had a lot of smoke in his face, so that's how he couldn't get out. He was too far in. That's like you come in the music game as a sweeper. My mom used to say stuff like this. My doctor mom used to say, "Yeah, you go down there and get your job as a sweeper." I knew if I came in that field as a sweeper, they'll always look at me like a sweeper. I will always be a goat. I will always be shuffled. No, no. So he came in a certain way, and the people around him that had real power could call on him anytime they wanted to. And he had to go take care of his business. No, I don't know what kind of business he was taking care of. It could have been sweeping, it could have been dancing, it could have been dumb. But we know he did some dirty stuff to get to where he got. And all I can
Two
say is
minutes,
this.
everybody. We're about to 1 minute. We're about to start digging in. I'm gonna let Ice finish this up, and then we're about to really get started. There's some stuff to talk about. A lot happened today. I got an inside scoop for everybody. I'm gonna let Ice finish up, and we're gonna run hard.
That's right. That's right.
You ready to rock?
All the way.
All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. In four, three, two. Welcome to the Think Tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased, logical conclusions. Today I'm here with Ice Water, formerly of the Nubian Mob, to discuss did he deserve a hard, did he deserve to have his sentencing pushed up? Now, a lot happened today. A lot happened today. But let's talk about
Talk.
how we got here first.
That's right.
Right? So a lot of y'all may or may not know that Puffy was at one time supposed to be the head of a company called Ciroc, a liquor company. Ciroc
Right.
was called Diddy Juice at one point. Yo, did you and Bob?
Wow.
You like the
Did he
Ciroc?
choose?
Diddy? Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You remember that, right? That's what we called it in the
Yeah,
hood.
it was pretty decent.
All
It
right.
was pretty decent.
Well, unbeknownst to us at the time, because of his wild proclamations and his business savvy, he had the entire hood convinced that Diddy Juice, Ciroc, actually was his own creation and that he owned it. We did not know about Diageo, who
Right,
also owns stuff like Smirnoff and what have you. So Diddy got mad at these guys, right? He was like, yo,
right.
why are you not promoting my stuff elsewhere? Why is Diddy Juice a hood drink? Like, why don't y'all ain't make the rapper better? Why y'all ain't do this? Why
Mhm.
y'all ain't do that? He sued Diageo. Y'all might know
Right.
Diageo for something. If in the hood we knew about Ciroc, right? But
Hmm.
y'all might know Smirnoff. Y'all might know what is the oh gosh. I'm gonna look it up right quick. But we're talking about the company that owns 21% of that sells 21% of all the liquor in the US.
Yes.
Diageo is a multinational, according to Google, this is Gemini. Diageo is a
Hmm.
multinational alcoholic beverage company with their headquarters in London. Smirnoff was originally founded in Russia in 1864 by P.A. Smirnoff, but after the President Revolution, his son Vladimir relaunched the brand in Europe under the Angelicized name Smirnoff. Diageo acquired the brand in 1997. So we're talking about that kind of juice that Diddy was going against. And he sued them and they lost $22 billion in 3 years.
So they
As
were,
they like to say in my circle, billion with a B. What's up? Talk to me, Ice.
that means they were very upset. They were very upset off the coins that they lost.
That might be the
They looked at it like,
understatement. Go
mhm.
ahead. He said they were
They
upset.
must have they must have looked at them like, dude, get a load of this guy. We putting him on. He's gonna flip on the script on us. Oh, we got something for him. So now he's having all this crap that he's going through.
Well, after they lost $22 billion within a year,
Right.
loss. Like they made Puffy. Without them, Puffy would not have been close to a billionaire. He was
Hmm.
in billionaire status. They pulled their money. He's got $400 million.
Hmm.
They pulled their money and he lost more than half his net worth overnight. But alongside that, 3 months after that lawsuit, 3 months later, he was sitting in jail. That's a
Yeah.
coincidence, though. I can't prove
Yeah.
that. All I'm saying is this is a think tank, and we
Right. Right. Right.
analyze clues and try and come up with deductions. Now I got Ice here. You in the streets, man. What did you hear?
I've heard the same things that you heard. And like I said, I had some insiders that wrote for Rap Pages magazine that told me, no, Beatdown magazine, that told me way before all this that they was gunning for Diddy because he was not a person that was um living to the standards that they wanted. He was he was jumping out the window without a parachute. So it was only a matter of time before they said, enough is enough. Let's corral this horse. This horse does not know how to act. He's bucking. So listen, we're gonna put him away for a minute. And once he realizes what we're doing, he'll pull back and say, "All right, you're right," because he thought he was the Jews. He's not the Jews. He's just a face in front of the Jews. That's it. He's just a face.
Yo, we've been
And you
talking for
can't
less than
say,
10 minutes and you've completely blown my mind. Wait,
yeah,
pause, slow down. You moving too fast. Did you just say they was gunning for him anyway? See, this is the insider
yeah,
stuff. This is why we have Ice Water here, formerly of the Nubian Mob, to present stuff that me and you don't know because we wasn't there. Ice might not have been there, but because he was in there rubbing elbows, he gets stuff that we don't. These are the things that we have the amazing Ice Water here for. So you're saying that they were gunning for this dude?
yeah. They was giving him a pass. They was at a lunch or meeting. They were eating at a dinner. and they were discussing on how he was not listening to the rules that they were playing. And he used to have a lot of commercials on the TV and all that, and they had pulled back all of it. But it seems that
That's why
once he got
Revolt
uppity again,
TV and all of that fell down.
right, yeah. So once he started getting uppity again, they said to themselves, we're gonna pull the chain.
Wow. Y'all heard it first here. This was really what went down. Look like, yo, I ain't never heard none of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's either gonna sink or swim.
And right
It's just like
now, just for the record, he said he's gonna sink or swim. Y'all know dead bodies float, right? All right. Anyway.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
So
So thank you for that incredible insight. Well,
and like I said, this is from my boy that wrote the magazines told me this. He told me some stuff about Wu-Tang. About the Wu-Tang Mansion and all that. He told me all the stuff. I know some stuff. He
we're
would go
not
up to
going to
the
dive
man.
too deeply into Wu right now. We'll talk off camera if we're going to have said conversation, because that right there, wow, yo, that's sick. Yo, y'all hearing this? Like, yo, they was like, yo, Diddy was not dancing to their tune, so they was like, all right, string pull, you're done. That's
That's right.
why he had Revolt TV popping. Suddenly he had Making It a Band. All that disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
And it's like being blacklisted, man. When you get blacklisted, at first you do not know you're being black. You don't know that. But if you're a common sense person, you start saying, why is this not working? This is not working. But last week, why was that doing? Same thing was happening with Diddy. This is his time to reflect on his transgressions. And once he realizes and understands what's happening, welcome back into the group.
Will they let him back in, or they gonna be done with him?
Nah, I don't think they're done with him because they put it like this: this next one after this, then he'll be done. If he mess up this one, that's when he'll be done.
So let's walk through this, because what you're saying has amazing implications. So let's talk about the jury, because he did beat the charges of RICO. Now, we're talking about the feds who we walked into this hearing, they have a 99.7 conviction rate. And when
Right.
I personally thought that the reason he was able to overcome these charges is because prosecution
Mm-hmm.
didn't prosecute him. I mean, and what I mean by that, right? So we all want to hear what happened. So I got a list of people. Hold up. Let me see if I can find the list right away. Let me see if I can find all these people. Because there were some things we wanted to hear. I don't see the list is going to come up later and be mad. Prosecution. Oh, no. Yeah. They didn't get, we wanted to hear what happened to Heavy D. Y'all might not remember Heavy D if you're not old enough. You might want to hear what happened to Kim Porter. Now, I think that dude Courtney B and that
Right.
guy Chris Todd messed up
Mm-hmm.
with the Courtney B thing, or with the Kim
Right.
Porter thing. I think they shot them. They shot the prosecution in the feet. There was no way they're going to call him. I actually spoke personally, and I'm going to bring to the show live. No, she doesn't want to come. I can't bring her live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you all the information about the person, the author of the Kim Porter book.
Mm-hmm.
Some heinous things went down with that poor lady.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was her arm was twisted to write a fan fiction. She wrote the fan fiction, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was stolen from her.
Right.
And she was afraid to come out because she was being blackmailed.
Right.
Eventually, she got a new boyfriend or whatever, and somebody went and saw Mr. Courtney B about this book.
Mm-hmm.
and so then afterwards he called her up like, yo, you see what you had done to me? See what your man did? Like, he got beat up because of this book that
Right.
he sent this picture to her. Apparently, apparently he should not have been blackmailing people.
Right. Let me
So
ask you that. True, I gotta ask you a question.
this is Courtney Burgess. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
Now, that's Courtney Burgess.
Courtney B, the one who said that he got the book from some other, the real author of the book.
Uh-huh.
That's what she sent me.
All right.
Like he was trying to, like her boyfriend or something like that went to see him about the blackmail, and then he hit
Mm-hmm.
her up like she was supposed to feel bad because he got his behind whooped.
Mm-hmm.
But and he stole the money for the book. She didn't get paid.
Mm. He looked like
So,
he looked kind of rusty.
well, I mean, that wasn't that. That's just what happened there. Like, you know, that was what it was. He got it. He got it handed to him because you know you steal money from people. Somebody gonna see you.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't. That's not the image that he likes to portray. That's not how he walks around.
Right.
Especially after he got that money from the book. I'm going to assume. So once again, exclusive stuff. So you hear what's going on with the real story of what happened with Courtney B and why he wasn't called to the grand jury. You're hearing what happened with Puffy himself through ice water. Y'all are getting exclusives here you can't get anyplace else. These are the real deals. I'm gonna show Courtney B as y'all probably know him. My computer's running a little slow. You gotta forgive me. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull something else up and show y'all who this man was. This is supposed to be. Well, I know for a fact that at one point he worked with Tupac. So there's that. He did actually work with Tupac. How much he did, it seems like it was greatly exaggerated. He said he did #1 hits and all that.
Mm-hmm.
According to my sources, they met one time. They might have done some. They might have done a track together because you know when you're an artist, I don't care how big you are, you want to shop around and work
Mm-hmm.
with different producers. So apparently he tried this guy out. It didn't work out. That's why there's no pictures of them together because according to my sources, it wasn't a very good look. Maybe he didn't like his tracks. I don't know what it was. It just didn't work out. But I'm gonna show y'all right quick, and then we're gonna dig back into because this is like so. I should say that. Sorry about that. Presently, at this very moment,
Mm-hmm.
Courtney B is being sued. Sean Combs files defamation suit against man who said he had sex tapes. The lawsuit names Courtney Burgess, a one-time music industry bit player, and his attorney. Oh, there's no pictures of him here. All right. So this is Diddy suing him. This is happening right now. This isn't conjecture of things that might come to pass. This lawsuit is occurring.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he wasn't called to the grand jury because he was lying. Anyway,
It would
so
have. I think it would have opened them up more worms. I think so.
well, I mean, so take. I think he messed it up for a lot of people. Yeah, because if he hadn't done that, Kim Porter probably would have been brought out. Then maybe we would have found out what happened to Tupac, Biggie. Why was Jamie Foxx in the hospital? How did he get hospitalized? For his comedy special, he teased that he was going to talk about what happened with Diddy. And then he did the comedy special. That was a corny. Jamie Foxx, if you're watching, that comedy special was corny. I'm happy you all right, bro. Like, I respect you. I love the things you've done for the game, but that comedy special was crap.
It's trash.
that comedy special was corny, bro. I mean, there's so many others. Like I said before in previous episodes, they could have brought Keefe D, who's on trial or who's actually sitting in prison because he stated that Puffy shot, that Puffy paid him to shoot Tupac. So why wasn't he there? Why wasn't Suge Knight there? That girl Natanya
He's in
Harding.
jail.
They could have
Suge's
still
in
had him
jail.
testify.
That's true.
His testimony was enough to lock him up, but it wasn't enough to bring him against Diddy. Like, why was it Natanya Harding there? She's like, yo, he shot me in the face. I saw him do it. Why wasn't Sean there? Sean was like, yo, he paid me to take the blame for when he shot Natanya, and then he didn't pay me. All these people, why was none of them there? And so I have these questions, right? So if I'm the jury and I'm sitting there now, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get to hear these answers. I'm gonna get to find out what happened to Tupac and Biggie and Kim Porter and Heavy D and Jamie Foxx and Natanya. And I get there and they're sitting there and they're talking about orgies. I'm like, man, y'all trying to lock him up for life for that? And he did. Yeah, this man must not be as guilty as y'all are framing him to be, because the only stuff y'all are bringing against him is petty stuff. He beat up Cassie. That was heinous. If it had been my daughter, I don't care how many security guards you got, you heard? But, however, when you look at the picture of what happened, she got paid off. Do you think he should have went to jail for that? After he paid her $20 million?
Well, put it like this. We don't know the inner circle. We don't know the inner circle, so we can't say they should or not, because we don't know. We don't know if he's working with the judge, the DA. We don't know how it's going down. All we can do is be on the outside looking in. We're on the outside looking in on that situation. That's why we have to sit and wait for the next move as far as the trial with your boy Diddy.
Well, I mean, he beat the Rico. He did it. The Rico's over.
Yes. Rico, they all gone. Well, all we
Wait,
can
say that
do,
one time?
I said Rico, they all gone. Oh, you gotta.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Go ahead.
I apologize. So apparently he's going to get off. He's got a man charge. For those of y'all that don't know about the man charge, they talk about this a lot. There's an ancient history in this country that's been well hidden. There were white slaves. Oh my God, it can't be true. So the man law was written so that white slaves could not be transported legally. That's where the man law came from. It was to protect white slaves. In its current form, what's up?
That's why they could have just corralled this guy, Diddy, and did whatever they want. Because it's for white slaves, not black slaves.
Well, I mean, the law is a law. So it's kind of like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's kind of like blacks are in trouble right now and don't realize it, because I covered this in my political podcast. I'll touch on it briefly, but I don't want to delve for too long. So there's a break where the Supreme Court ruled that justices can't make nationwide injunctions. That means they just can't rule on a case and it apply to everybody who has like cases. So they did that for for birthright citizenship. And then it was like, oh, well, blacks aren't affected by birthright citizenship. That only matters because it doesn't matter because it's because of the it's only applies to people that are not in jurisdiction thereof or not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And it was like the stupidest argument mankind has ever made. So jurisdiction thereof, it means under the law of the country. Jurisdiction is the place you're at, thereof. So of the country. So as long as you fall within the laws of the country, then you're in the jurisdiction thereof. So what's the difference between blacks and Spanish as far as that law goes? The law was made for blacks during the civil rights era. Spanish people
Mm-hmm.
realized they could use it, so they started using it.
Mm-hmm.
They saying, "Oh, we're not going to let the law work for Spanish people no more." It's the law. If the law doesn't work, the law doesn't work. It doesn't matter what your skin look like. The skin tone ain't in the law. And it's the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
The law is the law is the law. So that's how it applies. It's not like you can separate it based on anything. It's like, yo, this is it. So being white doesn't matter. What does matter is it's about transporting people. The Mann Law was written for white people, like birthright citizenship was written for black people. But at the end of the day, the law is the law. So you can apply that law to anybody. So now what they did was they applied it to these black women or men in some cases, but it's applied to women for sex trafficking. They applied a law on the books. They didn't make up a new law. It's kind of like Roe versus Wade. The law is on the books. Roe versus Wade interpreted the law that women had control of their bodies. Our current Supreme Court looked at that very same law, and their interpretation was different. They wrote an opinion, which is how their opinion is how they interpret the law. And in that opinion, the Supreme Court justice's opinion was that law did not mean women could have abortions.
Right.
So it's the interpretation of the law based on Supreme Court opinion that becomes the de facto law that we follow, even though it's the law in the books. The opinion of the Supreme Court judges can change how that law manifests itself in our current society. So the Mann Act is now interpreted as any type of sex trafficking, basically. I shouldn't be using the S word. I'm messing up here. So because they were trafficking, they got him for the Mann Act and wasn't able to get him. Rico, you can't get him for Rico. But why didn't they bring? So the case they brought was a weak case. And now I'm going to circle
Right.
back to what you said. Because what you said is why all of this happened, why I said all of this. So they
Right.
didn't bring a case that they possibly could have brought that people would have been sitting at the edge of their seat. And if they approved it, would have closed the two biggest mysteries in hip hop as far as murder goes. Instead of doing that, unaliving, gosh, instead of doing that, they brought these weak cases.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you're saying, it's because they just was giving you a slap on the wrist and it's a warning. Wow.
It's like they were. It's like they were fishing to get a conviction. They really didn't have no meat and potatoes. All they had was spam, and nobody eats spam. So
Oh
that's the
man.
problem.
Yeah, spam is not a very good tasting anything. Hold on, let me take a look at the chat to see what's going on. Hey Emily,
Mhm.
welcome back. Yeah, he's really going to court. Take that. Yo, you she said that. He might okay. So the take that 10 years is
Mhm.
because each charge of Mann Act has a maximum sentence of 10 years. So
Yes.
he can get so actually, technically, the judge can give him 20 years for those two acts, the two counts of Mann Act that he actually was convicted of.
Right.
However, he probably won't do the time because the prosecution only asked for 2 to 3 years, and we're
Hmm.
going to get into the rest of that later. He did have a top tier legal team. He brought
Yeah.
some of the best legal minds on the planet together to get off.
Yeah. And they got enough money from the case for them to
Oh,
get in trouble
I
again.
got the hearing information. It's public information that I was able to search out through databases, and the news is
Hmm.
reporting it as it happens real time. So you're able to, if you follow it, get the information on what's going on. That's how we're able to keep up and how we know what's going on.
Hmm.
All right. I'm sorry. I just was touching the chats because we have people hitting us up, and I want to keep everybody in the loop, as it were.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, the jurors looked at the case. Let's talk about the jurors real quick. Real quick. I'm just going to run through some things
Hmm.
about the jurors. The jurors' orders is what made the case they were either going to like or dislike what the judge said. They were either going to convict or not convict based on how the judge told them to interpret the laws. Those are the judge's orders. This is the law. This is how you got to look at it. For instance, they said they had a question about one of the things. It was, what was it, trafficking? No, it was distribution of narcotics.
Right.
The judge said that distribution of narcotics is if you give drugs to somebody, regardless of whether or not they paid for it. So they was like, hold up, wait. If I just pass the blunt to my man, then I just distribute it? Well, not now, no, because weed is legal now. But before weed was legal, yes, that would have been a predicate charge for a RICO. If you pass the blunt to your man twice, you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
Mm. Wow.
And then so the jury's deliberating, and they're talking about this, like, oh, did you hear what this judge said? He crazy. We don't know what happened inside the jury room, but we do know that the judge sent a note back to the jury, sent a note back to the judge requesting clarification on that particular stipulation that they had to follow as a jury order, and that read, and the question read, "Is it distribution if they ask for it?" Like, if they ask for it, is it still distribution? Like, hold on, wait, this is crazy. So a few minutes ago, past that, you hand it over to them. Like, is that okay? And the defense didn't really want to answer it because they knew the answer was crazy. Prosecution was like, no, we're going to answer this. And so the answer was yes. Even if they ask for the drug, if you give it to them, regardless of whether they purchased it or not, regardless of what y'all are doing, y'all just partying, it's distribution. And there was multiple people saying he passed drugs around. The jury was like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, boo. Now we ain't doing that, sir. So it was very difficult for them to get a conviction of a RICO charge when it was kind of like, yo, if you pass something to your people, we're giving you life in jail. The jury, I can understand why the jury was like, no, no, no.
Yeah, that sounds really stupid.
What? But that, and it's literally the judge's order. So what else was going on? The jurors didn't believe the witnesses. They were
Mm-hmm.
caught lying too many times. Like, yo, these stories
Mm-hmm.
changed. These stories didn't match up. Nobody believed them. If you followed the story, you're like, yo, wait a minute, time out. So you're saying you was there when he blew up Kid Cudi's car, and then he
Right.
kidnapped you, and he was looking for Kid Cudi with a gun. This is your story right now. But when you called Cassie and told her about it, you didn't tell Cassie about the gun. When you called Kid Cudi to warn him about it, you didn't tell Kid Cudi about the gun. So, based on the ridiculous story changes, they found it difficult to believe the witnesses. They didn't believe the witnesses. And they felt like it was a takedown of Diddy. Now,
Right.
that's basically what you're saying, right? You, as an insider, have information that made you feel like it was a takedown of Diddy. Is that correct?
Right. I believe that they looked at the circumstance and they tried to get an angle on how to bring him down instead of it being a real situation. Y'all made a false situation and you're making this false situation into a real situation, and it's not flying. And that's
It
the
was
problem
transparent.
with it's not flying. It's not flying. You
I
know,
only see
because
half your face.
you can't see me?
See, that's like right there. He was like right here on your nose. All right. So the jurors didn't even know who the main jury was going to be till, or who was going to be the alternates till right before they decided. So we didn't know who. They didn't know who was who. I think that's important. You faced a federal charge. I never have, never will,
Right.
and so they didn't know. That's why every juror was important. They didn't know who the alternate. They didn't know who the alternates was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they wasn't intimidated by Diddy. I'm gonna teach y'all something right quick from psychology and
Well,
acting.
one
I
of
know.
them. What about the guy that just wanted to leave? I think he
Oh,
lived in Jersey. He wanted to leave. He was on the jury, and he was telling them that he can't. I don't know why. I got to leave. This is not. I don't know what happened with him, but all I
I didn't
know is,
hear about that. I can't. I'll look into it. I
mhm,
didn't hear about that.
yeah, I remember that guy. He said, "Yeah, man, he's from Jersey. I think he's from Jersey."
I don't understand how that's possible because it was the Southern District of New York. You have to live in New York.
Yeah, but that's what he told them. But they knew he was from New York. But he told them that he was from Jersey or something
There was a
crazy.
juror that they tried to kick off,
Yeah, he
and
no,
juror
they
number
ain't trying to
five, they
kick him
tried to
off.
kick him off because he said so, because when he was talking to somebody inside the courts, he gave a different address than the one he gave when he
Right,
testified, and it was
right.
like, but I was living with my girlfriend in New York. I had a place in Jersey, but I didn't
Mhm.
lie. But it was like, nah, we can't trust you. You got to go. And they tried to kick him off the jury. Juror number
Right, right,
six. All
right,
right.
right, right.
So people did not feel intimidated when Puffy was looking over. Jurors are saying stuff like, I felt like he was looking over because he was a man fighting for his life and he wanted to know how we were reacting. And,
Right.
you heard a lot of different other YouTubers that were actually there where I wasn't, so I can't say because they were actually there, saying he was glaring at them, trying to intimidate them, and they were
Hmm.
looking and they didn't see the intimidation. So I'm gonna teach y'all
Right.
something from psychology that's used in acting. You
Hmm.
can give a blank stare, and
Hmm.
the emotions that the person feel,
Hmm.
they'll imprint those emotions onto your face, so
Right.
that you can actually make people think you're feeling something by giving them nothing. For instance, some of y'all might have just saw me as a very angry man. Some of y'all might have saw
Hmm.
me as calm and thinking, but all I did was look at the camera.
Right.
So it's a it's called a deadpan. And off a deadpan, you can imprint your own feelings onto it. So if the jury wasn't feeling intimidated and they felt sorry for him, and he's just looking, they looked and they saw somebody they felt sorry, they felt bad for him, they felt like he was getting railroaded. While
Hmm.
some of the YouTubers, which like my favorite YouTuber right now is Tisa Tells. She is too far against Diddy to see the bigger picture, but I still respect her journalism. I disagree. I explained, well, no, Ice explained why he didn't go to, he wasn't going nowhere. That man wasn't going
Hmm.
nowhere because they wasn't ready to get him.
Hmm.
This man wasn't on trial for beating them women. If he was going to be on trial for beating the women, they'd have got him back in 2019. They didn't go after him then.
Yeah.
They went after him because of the liquor company. And he's free because he's not getting, they're giving him a chance. I hope he
Hmm.
wises up. I hope he stops hitting women. I don't approve of that at all. I have daughters.
Right.
I ain't with that. I ain't with that. But
Me neither.
anyway, you have a daughter. She's 30. She in the music
Hmm.
business. He has a
Hmm.
daughter in the music business. I know he ain't with it. I know
Hmm.
he ain't with it. Anyway, um, one juror said that the Smex tapes were actually tame. They were just rubbing oil on each other. So that's what the juror said. Now, no one else in the courtroom was able to see the tapes.
Right.
Now, he has a kinky fetish or whatever. If that's what they was watching outside, they saw the one where Cassie got beat up over and over and over again. And they
Right.
also heard Cassie say how sometimes she hit him first.
Hmm.
And they always use drugs. So they looked at him like, all right, y'all just junkies. Y'all doing what junkies do. I'm not giving you a RICO because you're a junkie. Get rehab, TV. It's over 7 years it's lapsed, but I'm not giving you a RICO. I'm not putting you away for life for being a junkie. That's crazy.
Right.
Not when
Hmm.
she's hitting you first sometimes. Y'all are wild. So, I mean, and what else was there? The juror said that proving trafficking and racketeering based on the judge's orders was difficult. So we went over this several times. I'm gonna go over it one more time. A RICO was a racketeering, influence, corrupt organization. Everybody knows what influence is. Everybody knows what corrupt is. Everybody knows what organization is. Racketeering, according to Gemini, Google Gemini, is basically, I want to read it and get it right. I know what it means, but I've said it 100 times on the show. But we're going to give the exact definition because it's the one word that nobody understands. And it's the reason. If everybody hears racketeering and they think of mob bosses with these big guns and all that. And like what it really is a set of illegal activities aimed at commercial profit that may be disguised as legitimate business deals. None of that was a business deal that could be, it wasn't racketeering. Based on those orders, how you will give them racketeering? They didn't even try to get them. And so ICE, your
Mm-hmm.
feelings is that they wasn't even trying. This was a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I think it was more like a ploy to like bluff him. They was bluffing him. But as far as it being racketeering, they realized it's not because they had enough people in there, like Gotti, Gambino, and all them people that was really racketeering to know the difference.
Word.
They just wanted to see if he was going to jump. You know, we're gonna fool you, and maybe you'll take it and jump and bust your head on the stoop, or you just stay calm and let it carry itself out, like what's happening right now.
They also
You know, so
noted, the jury also noted there were no co-defendants.
mm-hmm.
I mean, would you feel that he was innocent of racketeering if it's a business organization and he was being charged by himself?
Yeah, because there's no facts that say that he was doing racketeering. He's in the music industry. Y'all want to put it all together like in the industry, they're doing all of this. It's not that. That's all in your mind. That's your mind. And the reality is, y'all been trying to stop hip hop so long, it became great, became big. Instead of taking it for what it is. These are the same people that y'all been oppressing for a long time. And now it's their time to win. You can't stop it. You got all kinds of ploys and schemes and all this other stuff, but you can't stop it. Your time is up. You know, it's like the song "Time's Up" by OC. Time's up. You had
All right,
you
well,
had to run. You had to run. You had to run already.
yeah. So
You
the
don't.
sentencing guidelines for federal charges are interesting. They
Mm-hmm,
range from 1 to 43.
mm-hmm,
And based on how severe it is, 1 being the easiest and 43 being the most severe, then
mm-hmm.
that determines the amount of time you get. I don't know the guidelines. We can take a quick look. Let's see if I can pull up federal sentencing guideline breakdown. Oh, if my computer was running a little better, I got to get another computer. This is killing me because this is the good stuff we talk about now. Now we talk about the good stuff. All right, so sentencing guideline breakdown. See if I can pull that up really quick because he's got till July 30th to
Mm-hmm.
appeal the two Mann Act charges that he already attained. So it's not even
Mm-hmm.
over. He still could appeal this. He can still be like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I beat the RICO. I beat this. I beat that. Y'all got me on these two man orders. No, I'm not taking it. We're going back to court to fight. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, what do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to take it lying down and just be like, you know what? Let me get while the getting's good. Or do you think he's going to try and beat the rest?
I think it was knowing him and knowing a person with that kind of status behind him. I'm going for the bone. I'm going for the win. I'm going for it. Now, if I was a scrappy dude guy, that's something different. But he's at the point that he got he got too much to lose by just saying, do what you want to me. Or he can be a Jeep and say, nah, man, I'm fighting this all the way. Since since y'all believe it's true, and I know it ain't true, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
I can see him fighting it. I can't see him lying down and take that, take that, take that. Like,
Mm.
it don't even make sense. Like, yo, hold on, time out. So I got y'all basically beaten. I didn't get caught for no serious charge, and now y'all expect me to do what? Like, take that. Hold on, let me see. Let me get back in these. Who looked there? So the date is official now. All right, yeah. Let me get into the rest of that as far and into this as well. Let's get into this. So it's today they requested on Thursday last week or Wednesday last week, Thursday. No, it was Tuesday. They requested at the end of his trial after he lost, I think it was Wednesday, to be able to push his sentence up. His sentence was supposed to be October 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a request to push the sentence up. The judge said, all right, you know what? Come back July 8th and y'all give me y'all statements and I'll see if I push the sentence up.
Right.
They did that. They went in today to decide when his sentencing would be.
Right.
Originally, the judge pushed it up. Oh, before that, he appeals by July 30th, and the prosecution has an opportunity to respond to his appeal by the 11th. So that's the timeline. He has the appeal by the 30th. They can respond to the appeal by the 11th. They were supposed to have his sentencing date September 28th.
Mm.
But for some reason that no one is disclaiming, they agreed. No, September 22nd. I apologize. I was doing it off memory and it's on paper. Use the paper, stupid. So they agreed to give him September 22nd, which is like a week and a half earlier.
Right.
But then Agnifilo, his lead attorney, said no, he wants it on October 3rd.
Mm.
Why do you think that they would? Somebody gave an opinion. JLR investigates. His channel is informative. He's an ex-con who did a serious felony time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been inside and understands it from a different way than both me and you. You did a couple of years. He did some time. Like
Right.
he did a bootstrap. Like he did like over a decade. Like yeah, he got similar charges to Diddy. Well, no,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't get the trafficking charges. He got the other kind of charges, the distribution, all that. But he did real time, and
Right.
I don't like his style of delivery on his
Mm-hmm.
podcast. But I love the
Mm-hmm.
service he offers. He keeps you up to date on every single news outlet as it comes out, and lets you really hear it. JLR investigates. You can check him out and be the engage for yourself. He keeps you up to date. I got a lot of information from him, as a matter of fact. He is not how I got the author of the Kim Porter book, though.
Right.
What was I supposed to be looking up? I forgot. There was so much going on in my head just now. Okay, so I said he got appealed by the 11th, and I was responding to somebody. Oh, this date is official. So they pushed it back to October 3rd.
Right.
And I was asking, why do you think that that his defense want to push his sentencing back? JLR investigators came up with a theory, and I'm gonna run it past because it made sense. But what did you think? What do you think the reason is? Because I don't know.
I think that they're trying to put together, formulate the best way to come at the conviction situation. I think so because remember they living with this every day, so they may feel what they saw earlier was different from what they seeing tonight, and they're sitting there and trying to put together the right, the right formulation. Right, you have to because
To try and
as
defend against whatever sentencing they
yeah,
give him.
yes.
Well, that was kind of the explanation, but he went a lot deeper, and his concept was actually pretty brilliant. So what he said was, already we know that he's going to be sentenced. The prosecution asked for 2 to 3 years. There's a few rumors floating around. There's definitively the possibility that
And if they can find out, and at the same time, they know certain things that too now, but they know that there's a little little inside trick happening, and you have to. And I know when they go in there and they argue, they know that I mean Diddy knows it, and the lawyers know it. They cannot say it because then they can get it. No, they can't make no accusation, but they're in the same game as we are, so they understand and understand that you got to slow it down, because if you don't slow it down, you're gonna hit the ground.
Well, so here's the speculation. Well, first, there's a lot of rumors floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, though, somebody said superseding indictments, which is false. Superseding indictments can only occur if you're still on trial. He's already finished. So there's no such thing as a superseding indictment at this point. But more charges can be pressed while he's being held. So the concept is they're holding him and there's going to be more charges coming, which is a strong possibility. There's also, what was the other? There's another rumor floating around other than more charges. Well, that was the big one. Everybody's talking about he might get more charges. I mean, he can still face charges in California. He can still face charges in Florida. And then there's all of the charges we talked about that he should have, that we wanted to see in the first place that they never pressed. But Tupac and Biggie died in California. Is that a RICO? Can you go back more than 20 years? No. Actually, the RICO charges have to be present within the last 10 years, or 5 years, 7 years. So they can't go back and get RICO charges unless they're pushing it to events that are have happened within the last 7 years. So if it's older than 2018 and there's nothing connecting it to 2018 and beyond, they cannot utilize those charges. He beat them because it's past the statute of limitations. So a RICO it can go back as far as 50 years as long as it extends to within the last 7 years, which is why Jane Doe was so important, because Cassie's been over for 10 years. So in order to connect Cassie, they had to connect her to Jane Doe and say, well, he's still doing the same thing. That's what they tried to do. That's why the RICO failed. Anyway, prosecution called 34 witnesses. Diddy didn't call any. I think it was a brilliant strategy. I'm not going to ask you for your opinion on law. You can give it to me if you want. You can tell me once you come back on camera why you feel that they didn't call any witnesses.
I feel they didn't call witnesses because once you got your game plan, you don't want to mess it up by going back. It's just like you writing an essay and you got to bring it into school tomorrow. Once you write it, that's it. The same thing with the court pick. Court. Once they have some nonsense of what they're gonna do, they can't keep going backwards. They got to deal with it what it is and work from there. That's the best way I can say it.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. Like they had a game plan, and it's like, we don't want witnesses to be cross-examined. Y'all messed up enough. We poked so many holes in your witnesses. Why should we bring our own for you to do the same thing? We saw like, nah, we good. We made y'all witnesses look stupid. That is what it looked like to me. That's what happened. So the last thing on my list before we get to the two big ones after that is jurors were not fans of hip hop. So the jurors were not really Diddy fans. So do you think that worked for or against him? Like, you've been in that situation, but you wasn't already a hip hop person when you was there. Do you think that the fact that they was able to get fans that weren't or jurors that weren't fans of hip hop worked for Diddy or against him, considering what we know about his history and the things that we want to see versus somebody who doesn't know anything about him?
Well, I think once you in that situation, you have to sit down and judge it for what you know. You cannot judge it for likes and dislikes. So that's how they had to deal with it. And guess what? Did we do it? No, we didn't. But let's move on. But Diddy, he's in a situation whereas this should change his life. Now he can come out, either he can be an idiot and come out and think I've been down in jail with that hard crap, or he can come down and be a conscious person.
Learn from
Or
his mistakes.
yeah, if he comes out the other way, that means he wants to go back to jail. He want to go see Big Bubba, and Big Bubba's waiting for him too.
Robert, that man's legacy is already destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
And the case is, I think that Ice laid the case out. I think that he laid it out clean. Emily, there is no live stream cameras and recording devices are not allowed in federal court. So the only reporting that we can get is people that came out and reported afterwards, or they were text messaging as it went,
Mhm.
trying to keep us updated, which is why JLR was so important because he was literally reading everything as it came. Oh wow, take
Yeah,
that to the judge. That's hilarious for you.
you got to look at R. Kelly's case like you done upped up. You done upped up. You got 30, then you got 20. When you come out, you're gonna be crusty Bob. You're gonna be crusty Bob.
Well,
Unless
I know
they
that
got
man.
you
Oh,
there.
sorry, go ahead.
Unless they got him there because they want him to say something about certain people. I don't know. Because
That's
he
the
has
other
to,
thing that they're saying. That's actually
yeah,
they're like, yo, they're gonna make him a deal if he snitch. That's the other rumor floating.
yeah, I hear that too. That makes sense. You
It's a
know.
possibility. Well, what I heard was it's about the time served. So now you gotta remember he has some slick lawyers.
Hmm.
He get people up, he's not gonna make it out of jail. He's gonna be Epstein. A minute from the tape of where he was at's gonna disappear.
Hmm.
And then nobody's gonna know nothing. A minute from that tape is gonna disappear. He's gonna be Epstein because he got Trump on tape like Epstein did. All right, now I got that out the way. But if anybody followed the Epstein thing and knows what's going on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Epstein stayed at MDC too. Puff one's out of MDC, but the rumor is it's about the time served. So he went into jail September 11th, was it? I believe it was the 11th. Let me double check that. Nope, the 16th. I'm wrong. September 11th or September 11th. September 16th, he got locked up. So they want to push it far enough past September 16th, you know, the year and a day thing, where if you
Hmm.
serve less than 365 days, it's a misdemeanor. But if it's more than 365 days, it's a felony or something like that. They
Hmm.
want to push it far enough past where they could try and push the time served thing. And they might not get him off completely, but maybe if he has enough time served and it's only a 2 to 3 year sentence anyway, they can push for that walk with an ankle bracelet maneuver or a halfway house. So the rumors are twofold. One way they're saying they're trying to get him to snitch. The other way they're saying maybe he can get off with time served if he can make
Hmm.
it through past their stretch.
Hmm.
Either way, either way, those are the two rumors. Either way, it's very interesting. So the other big thing is that what we want to see now is he did get accused and convicted of 2 Mann Act charges. These are felonies. What that means is the prosecution the state, the feds can can forfeit or can take anything that he owns that had something to do with that charge. For instance, if the trafficking occurred and went to his house, they could take his house. If he used his plane to fly him there, they could take his plane. If he used funds from Bad Boy credit cards, which he did, then they could take those credit cards and utilize them to take Bad Boy and all of the Bad Boy assets from him.
Right. He's in a coast. He's in a particular spot that he can't go left, he can't go right, he can't go up, go down, he can come straight. And that's what his lawyers have to be the ones that speak reasoning to his idiot brain. Because sometimes I know his brain go marbles. So the lawyers have to make sure he stays focused on his journey. You know, because this is a journey in his life. He never thought he was going to be where he's at, but you're there now. You know, Big Bip is waiting for you.
Yeah, that's where it's at. He's in a very bad situation.
Yep. And Big
And that's
Earl.
the big thing. Are they going to come and take all his stuff?
Yeah. Even though he has it in his mother's names, and they can't touch a lot of that because it's in his mother's name. And
And
that
they
was
got stuff
smart.
in his daughter's name. They found millions in his daughter, in the twins' name also.
That was a smart move.
That's all you got on that. So finally, the chef that works for him,
Mm-hmm.
she said some wild stuff, bro. I don't know if y'all heard this, but it's been coming out the last day or two. She
Mm-hmm.
went live. I'm not going to play it on here because I don't want my channel stricken for using it. I don't know the rules of YouTube. They're changing. I had a few videos struck, so I'm being very careful on what I place.
Mm-hmm.
But what Shorty said was she had her car vandalized when she was supposed to be testifying, when she was supposed to be getting ready to testify. They went in her glove compartment. They went into the console in the middle of her seat and took all of her identifying material, things that would says she's her, maybe her work ID, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
and they left it neatly stacked on her passenger seat. And this is 3 days after the feds came to her to testify. And in this rant that she went on YouTube, she was like, y'all don't believe Cassie, but I know I believe her. Y'all don't believe Jane Doe, but I know I believe her. Y'all don't believe this person, I know I believe her. My best friend, my close friend, I believe her. I believe these women were R-worded.
Yes. And me say something on that point. I know that the powers to be have the kind of juice that they can follow you everywhere you go. They can follow you. Um, I know because a circumstance like that happened to me, so I know it's real.
Me too.
And a lot of people walk around like it's a dream. Nah, it's for real.
Not at all. And now I'm not even gonna say that. But it's I will say this. And no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But they
I
can
know,
absolutely do that. Yeah, yo, you gotta be careful what you say. Like this is still a public platform, and I'm not trying to put a mark on my head. And
right?
the stuff I know, like I know, like it's you, yo. I'm not saying it.
I
I'm
I
not saying
I, I dig you, man. I dig it all the way, man.
it. Yo, there's certain things I play with, but that is not one of them.
Because
Um. Anyway, so she basically said the same thing though. She was like, "Yo, y'all are worried about me telling Puff where I'm at. He knows where I'm at," and she spazzed. He already knows where I'm at. And then she told a story about her car being vandalized.
Mm-hmm.
She also said that everybody had the same story about Puff as he R-worded them. This story, bronkis. So the story was his eyes turned black and he looked like a demon. How did he said she said these women did not communicate amongst each other about these stories, but there's some communication because you know all the stories from all of the people. So I can't take all of it at her word, but her passion about it was something I believed. The chef lady, I believe, like you could look up a video. It's viral right now on YouTube. It's Diddy Chef. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. I'll tell you what her name is. It is viral right now on YouTube, like crazy. Give me 1 second. And y'all will believe after this, y'all probably gonna believe it too. They just call her the chef threatened. I'm not gonna play. I can't show you the video because I don't want my channel struck. But it's
Mm-hmm.
called the chef. It's called Chef. She's short Chef Jordan. Jourdan. Jourdan. Threatened. And oh no, that's JLR. That's not even the video I'm looking for. That's JLR. Diddy's former chef, Fear for My Life. It's a short. Because he played the same short. He played it, I'm not. Because my videos got struck. I don't know what he's doing. Diddy's former chef, Fear for My Life. Her name is Chef Jordan. And the passion that she gave,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe her. And, the eyes turning black thing, I don't know what y'all feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all put something in the comments about it. You can tell me what you think, Ice. His eyes turning black?
Put it like this, man. I'm saying this. As we were talking about certain things that are happening in that field that you don't know because you don't keep abreast to it. So when she said what she saw, she's not lying. She's not lying. Because you have all kinds of people in that game. I'm not gonna tell you what they are, what they not, or what they are
Don't do that.
is.
Don't do that on this channel. Don't do that.
All I
This
can
channel is
say is
being
that.
watched right now.
All I
Don't
can
do
say
that.
is that you just got to be careful. Whatever you do in your trials and tribulations, you got to watch out. That's all. You know.
And so you heard it here. We will say that eyes turning black, there's a possibility, a likelihood that it's real because of the things that we know. Well, it's already public knowledge that Diddy delved into the arts. Are the
Yes, it
arts
is.
real?
Yes. Um.
I was going to tell people to think of that's something they got to decide on their own. But,
Yeah. 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 You got to
well, if they're
decide on
real,
your
then you
own
better know enough to protect yourself.
because sometimes you can't see it until you see it,
Sometimes you can.
right? Until you really see it. So you just have to take it for what it is. But there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening on this planet. And the funny part about it is that when we was growing up, we didn't think this was real. All the crazy stuff that's happening now, we didn't believe it's real. Now, when you walk through certain doors, you see it. And you see it,
It's terrifying.
yeah, and you have to just be a cautious person because it's out there for you to see it. And you just gotta step to it, like Malcolm stepped to the podium. And hopefully that shotgun will miss you. That's all I can say.
Well, I think we gave everybody a heck of a show. I think that people really gained some stuff, got some value out of this. I want to thank you again, Ice Water, formerly the Nubian Mob, for joining me for this conversation.
Yeah.
I hope that the people watching will like, share, subscribe, become critical thinkers, join the free thinking community.
Yeah.
Hold on. I know there's a phenomenon that can cause you to misunderstand things during traumatic events. However, multiple people reporting one thing is used as corroborating evidence for something happening. Wow, that was so well worded. What Chrissy J said was that if multiple people are testifying the same thing, then that's corroborating evidence. It means that in the court of law, it will be validated as true. Thank you,
Mhm.
Chrissy J, for your input. That was an amazing analysis.
Yes, sir.
So, anyway, again, thank y'all. Please click the subscribe button, click that like button. It helps us with our analytics. It helps us so that YouTube will help us share more of this. We got stuff coming out. You hear ISIS dropping them bombs. I got a
Yes, sir.
very, very, very big. Yeah, you definitely are, bro. You definitely are. You hitting them. You had me sitting at the beginning like, like yo, you gonna hit them flames, fam. Like you hitting it. Like yo, what? Some of the stuff you said is so wild, and I know you're telling the truth. It is still wild. Like you just heard about the black guys, and you got two black guys. My bad. That's that rap thing. Right? Telling y'all that's what it is.
Hmm.
Unfortunately. But all
All we
jokes
can do is
aside, yeah,
live
yeah,
with it.
yo, thank you. Pop it up, bro.
Thank you for having me on your show.
It's an honor to have you always, bro. Always. Like, yo, you don't know. I feel so blessed to have you. Thank you. All right. So we're
All
getting
right.
ready to rock up out of here. Thank
Mm-hmm.
everybody for coming. Again,
Mm-hmm.
if you tell a friend, share it, like it, join the critical thinking community, come into the chats, talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking about some of the things that we're saying, because we're saying some very interesting things, and it's only going to get more interesting. I assure you.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to do our own channel, me and Ice. It's going to be entertainment, but we might do a few more things on the Diddy thing here as well. But we just had to come live today because the hearing for the sentencing was today, about the sentencing was today, and we wanted to update everybody. I didn't know y'all was going to get so much valuable, powerful, crazy information.
Right. Right.
And wait till y'all see what the author has to say about this book. It is. It made me feel bad for Puff because they set him up, and I'm happy that he was able to beat those charges.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is Ice Water, formerly the Nubian Mob, and Leo of Enlightened Vision Entertainment, signing out.
All
Thank y'all
right.
for coming.
All right.
And as I try to sign out, my computer froze. There we
Hey.
go. All right, peace.